Hey guys, it's Morgan from Goldshaw Farm, and I just got finished reading this article on Wired.com, and it was kind of interesting to me, and I figured it'd be interesting to a lot of you. So I decided to put together this quick video to give you some thoughts that I had, and I'm really curious to hear about what you guys think about this article. So the article was titled, "The Goat Birthing Tomato-Fermenting Homesteaders of YouTube," and it was written by Emma Grey Ellis. For those of us who are out there who are homesteading or trying to start farms and documenting the whole process on YouTube, this territory of journalistic coverage is somewhat familiar. We've seen it before in places like the Atlantic. It's nothing new. But I actually will say I think the article overall was pretty interesting and pretty good. First off, it was awesome to see people I know and people that I'm familiar with named and listed and interviewed in this article. Julianne from Dirtpatcheaven, Danelle from Reap and Weep, and of course my good buddy Al Lumnah over at Lumnah Acres were all featured in the article, and there were some cool quotes from all of them, and I'm really excited for all of them because I hope this brings more attention to their channels and more attention to what they're doing and helps them grow, because they're all really good people, and I'd be excited to see that personally. So my second take on the article is that there was kind of that standard mainstream media perspective and slant written with the article of, hey, look at these people, they're kind of weird. And I mean, even down to that, goat birthing, tomato fermenting title, that was definitely part of the coverage and the tone of the piece. But at the same time, I think it was actually a better piece than I've seen in a lot of other places. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, guys, you've got to realize that folks like us who are living like us are a little bit weird, and that's okay, and I'm cool with it. And the fact that somebody like a journalist is observing that, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. Another thing about the article that I think they get really right, and a lot of articles that have been covering this topic do a poor job with, but this one did good, was they highlighted the reasons why people are often homesteading. They highlighted, kind of the concern about health and wanting to live a lifestyle that's more conducive to good health. They talked about mistrust of large institutions that are supposed to keep us safe. It highlighted the need for people to have kind of an independent spirit and a preparedness mindset. And it also did a nice job highlighting the fact that many of us, I count myself among them, have a similar backstory of finding the rat race in city life exhausting and unfulfilling, and stepping out of that and into this type of lifestyle as a way to find a life that's a little bit more worth living. And I don't know, I can't deny any of that, at least in my personal case. I'm sure many of you out there watching this also feel that way. And so I think the article did a nice job there. I think the article also did a nice job articulating why social media comes into play. I think the biggest factor, and I think the way we all started to get connected into the social media aspect of homesteading, came from the information sharing. In the olden days, you would learn a lot of these skills and learn a lot of these practices from your grandpappy or other relatives, and it would be part of your community, and you would have people you could learn and develop those skills from. But for people like me, for example, who grew up in the suburbs and then lived for years and years and years in the city, none of those learning opportunities were available. And so when it came time that I had an interest in living out in the middle of nowhere and trying to grow food, I lacked all of the skills necessary. In fact, I still lack most of the skills necessary. But it was because of social media I was able to learn and develop some things, and I've been building my skill set slowly but surely, and also trying to pass it forward and share some of the things that I've personally learned with many of you out there who are watching these videos. And the article highlights that fact, and I frankly think it's a great point. I think the article also recognizes the fact that social media becomes a vital income stream for a lot of folks who are out there homesteading. And when it comes down to it, there's nothing wrong with that either. One part though that did come up in the article that is a trend that I've seen in other places too, is highlighting the cognitive dissonance that exists when you think about this approach of going back to the land and going back to olden times in terms of how you're living your life as you raise your own food and run a homestead, and at the same time recognizing that is almost in conflict with things like social media. Another interesting point that the article made that I found really funny is recognizing the fact that the line between homesteader and hipster is a very fine one. As you think about the desire for artisanal, handcrafted, foodie type food compared with some of the things that, you know, might get produced at a homestead. Which, for anyone out there who's watching this video and thinking about starting their own homesteading channel, you know, a great title would be like the hipsteader or the homester, or some sort of mashup of those two concepts. Just throwing it out there. One of you guys can use it. Enjoy. So yeah, so kudos to Emma Grey Ellis for writing a pretty good article about homesteading in YouTube. One that was actually pretty balanced and offered some good perspective and added to the dialogue. So kudos to you, Emma. And I'm really curious to hear what you guys think of this article. Leave your comments down below. I'll be responding. I'm really looking forward to that discussion, and I will see you next time here at Goldshaw Farm, where we're trying to build a farm in Vermont. Thanks.